Hola, Senor Macas. I greet you in the name of the Lord. Hi. Hi. So where did we get to with my testimony? Okay. So what happened is the day I went to the church, this is when I had just came back from this horrible weekend, and so obviously when I went to church that day, I'm getting off just looking at my Bible. So when I went to the church, I took my seat. Some people were doing their little dancing and celebrating God, which was good. Happy to be back in church and everything. Sat down in the day, the second, I think it was on the second row. And these three girls who liked me at the beginning were sitting with me. So I sat down and I took my seat. And then as I sat there, the Pastor Sam from the Dominion Church in Wood Green Centre in Wood Green started preaching about member of Legion, where you see the guy they said that, remember when he was like, he bounded in chains, he had, no one could tame him. He said, then he saw Jesus, then he lit up and said, if God, Jesus is going to kill me, let me alone. And then, Jesus said, who are you? And he said his name's Legion. And he cast out the swines, tell the demon to go back into the swines, and they went in the water. So it's obviously interesting. Obviously I heard that story. Then he mentioned me. So basically he talked about the legions and the man with the chains and everyone could bound him. Then he started talking about me when I first came to the church. He said, this is what he said to me in the church. There was a new guy who just came to this church today. Really popular guy. Then he started saying, I'm the one with legions in me because of the way I was dancing. So as he was describing me as Legion, and he was accusing me of having an LGBT lifestyle, which I didn't. I was just dancing. I mean, it was a bit extra, but I was just celebrating the Lord. So he accused me of living an LGBT lifestyle, and he said I had legions in me and stuff like that. And then everyone got screaming in the church saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's got a devil in him," and everything like that. And I was just sitting there. I was just sitting there and just listening to him, just taking the mick how I dance, taking the mick out of me, and being really nasty. And I remember when it had happened, everyone was screaming in the background and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh Jesus. Oh my gosh, what kind of disgusting person is that?" This is me they're talking about, right? Someone who has never been to church before, and to be mistreated like that. I just sat there and just listened to how it was. I was just sitting there just like that. Sitting there just listening to him insult me and everything, and take the mick how I dance. How I was in the church and everything. I just remember just looking at him and just couldn't believe, because I had him as I was always saying that he was a really nice pastor. When I was working in the charity shop, I was telling everyone how nice he was, and I was following all the teachings that he was doing, not knowing that he actually hated me from the moment I came to this church. He had never had a conversation with me, never spoke to me, never talked to me at one time since I was there for I was only there for 4 months. So the first 2 months was great, and then the last two, it just turned unbearable. So after the service, what did I do after the service? I got up, and some of the girls were coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry about what happened to you. I'm really sorry." And I was just looking at them. I just couldn't believe what I've just heard, and they're all like, it was like support, you know, like support saying, oh, I'm so sorry that you had that lifestyle. I'm really sorry for you. Oh, I had no idea that you were going through that. And I was saying to myself, what are they talking about? This is all lies, blatant lies right in front of me. So as I went home, I was so shocked of what I heard that I called the lady that I spoke to when I came back from Derbyshire after the girl Jazz ditched me. And I said, why did the pastor say that about me? And she would like say to me, what did he say to you? This is Flake. This is Flake and Pastor Timothy, the husband, the husband and wife pastors. So she told her husband, and then he told the pastor. So I was saying to her, why did the pastor say that about me? She said, what did he say to you? He said, I was the gospel of Mark, and I had legions in me and stuff like that. I didn't hear that. Why did he say that? So she was like doing psychology lies in front of me and acting like she didn't do anything, because it was her what told her husband about my problem, and then her husband told the pastor. So it was like a two-way thing, and she just kept on denying it. So the next day, brush myself off and go to the charity shop to go and do my volunteering. Get up, cut my hair, look great, go. I go on the road and everyone's pointing to me on the road saying, oh, that's the guy who's got legions in him. This is the one who's living a homosexual lifestyle. Blah, 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 blah. And as I was waiting for the bus, this is when Satan really stirred the pot here. This was very sinister. It reminded me what I'm about to say right now. So I was waiting for the bus to go to the charity shop in Brucescroft Road, which was Senses in Brucescroft Road, which is a charity shop. So as I was waiting for the bus just from not far from me, as I was waiting for the bus, a little girl was calling me homophobic names. So she just kept on going, and a little girl was calling me that, and she was just carried on that. And I remember people were looking at me, and they were looking at me, hearing that a little girl is actually insulting me, calling me names. You know what I mean? It was so weird, but I knew it was the enemy. So got on the bus, and then when I was on the bus, no one spoke because they knew what the pastor had said about me, and they believed it. They really believed that I had legions in me and that I was living an LGBT lifestyle, which I never, ever, ever had that lifestyle at all, which was just blatant lies. But as I went to cross over, when I got to Brucescroft Road, I was crossing over, and as I crossed over to the supermarket, everyone just stopped what they're doing and they just stared at me. And they just looked at me really intensely, looking at me. If I had a demon in me, they were like staring at me in the eyes, like, do you have a demon in you? Do you have legions in you? What? Do you have that lifestyle? Do you have an LGBT lifestyle? And they're just looking at me. And I went into the charity shop and I told them everything, that they chatted my prayer out and said that I had legions in me and I was living an LGBT lifestyle. And they said, what? They actually said that? I said, yeah. They filmed it and they made a camera of it, and they literally said that about me to someone who was new to the faith. I think the reason why they did it because I didn't have a Bible. I didn't know the word. I was fresh into the faith really early, and to have to be accused of living a lifestyle which I never did, and to be saying that I had legions in me because the way I was dancing in the church, when he was saying to us a few weeks back that you can dance how you want to be, you can be how you want to be in the church. So I'm thinking to myself, well, then I can dance how I want to do, I can be me. But then I don't know how, it reminded me of the Pharisees, which were trying to accuse Jesus of the woman in adultery, you know, and they were going to they were going to stone her because she was in adultery, right? And I remember there was the bit when Jesus was talking and said, he's without sin, cast the first stone. And they dropped their stones and they walked off. But he accused me of that, and I thought to myself, how could you be so wicked, you know? But it makes sense because they're from Tottenham. Tottenham people are like that. They I don't know. I have a thing about black churches that I just find to be the worst place to be. I just don't like black churches altogether because this is what we do to one another. We don't support one another. We're all up in arms when it's racism, but when it comes to someone who has a problem, they would just quote Bible scriptures to them and make them feel like shit. That's basically what it was. So, and they said to me, why don't you just go to another church? And I said, okay, I'll go to another church. Okay, so while I was being people so-called thinking that I was having this lifestyle and comparing me to Legion, this went on for over, I've had this linger with me for over, I would say about 15 years. I've been having people believing that from where I live, who actually believed that I actually lived that lifestyle. Absolutely believed it. And I said to the charity shop people, I'm going to go back to get that message so I can just to get a copy that I really heard what I really heard. And I went back and I couldn't get a copy of the film. It had been sold out. So they've actually, not only that they accused me of that lifestyle, but they actually made money out of my message about me. They made money out of it. So I remember just telling everyone, where in the KISS training, I was telling everyone that they chatted my prayer out for entertainment purpose and calling me Legion, and I had an LGBT lifestyle, blah 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 blah. And everyone couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that someone like me, someone who's really nice, very polite, very friendly, really life of the party, and to have someone accuse you of a lifestyle which you never had and comparing you to Legion from the Bible, you know, saying you had to, it's just. And I remember my teacher, he said to me, did they really say that about you? I said, yeah. Are you sure? I said, yeah, they did. They and then she was telling them, she said this is what he said to the pastor. She said to my teacher Steve, she said that the pastor was not talking about Mark, he was talking about the Gospel of Mark. And I said, yeah, but then he was mixing the Bible scripture, and she even told my pastor to try and force me to come back. The second week I didn't come back, and then she kept on telling the pastor that no one was talking about Mark. They're using psychology lies towards me. Oh no one said anything about that about Mark. Mark, we didn't say that. The pastor was talking about the Gospel of Mark. And my pastor was so, I mean, my teacher in the class and KISS training was saying to me, Mark, the pastor was not talking, he was talking about about the Gospel of Mark. I said, yeah, but they mixed my prayer and made a story about me through it, and it just went on and on. And when I refused to come back, this is when it got even really horrible. They encouraged the youth that were there to attack me and to shout abuse towards me. So he basically, not only did he accuse me of living an LGBT life and calling me Legion, but he also encouraged people from the same church to attack me and throw names, to call me names, to bully me, and to just say all manner of things just because they heard that story about me, which was not true. So I ended up having this abuse for over 15 years. All the other churches I went to. So the next, okay, I'm going to give you a part 2 of this now. So hold on a minute, I'm going to cut off and I'm going to tell you the second part.